Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And this episode is a double dunter with a couple of moans about Nicola Sturgeon. Yeah, that Nicola Sturgeon that disappeared for a while, about a year ago. Never seen her much since. We've only seen her when there was votes needing one in Parliament, that Nicola Sturgeon. Well, she's been back to Parliament today and two things has cropped up. So the first thing is her evidence about why the A9's not duelled. This is the thing that was meant to be duelled 10 years ago. And then the other thing is her campaigning at the Westminster Election, which will be fantastic. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is discuss this A9 story. And I'll go and use one of the local press, the Ross-shire Journal, who have covered the story. And they've got a wee video attached to it, and it says, "Watch former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon blame austerity, Brexit, and the pandemic for the A9 dueling delays." That's right, that's what she said. So, former First Minister, I'll just turn the volume off so I don't get that. Nicola Sturgeon has said the A9 dueling was delayed because of austerity, Brexit, the pandemic, while also admitting that it is in effect the Highlands' turn for investment. Her appearance at the Public Petitions Committee inquiry into the decade-long delay to the A9 dueling has been much anticipated because the bulk of the programme should have been concluded while she was First Minister. That has sparked allegations that Ms Sturgeon government did not prioritise the delivery despite the road being well known for numerous and ongoing fatalities, not to mention its economical importance. New First Minister John Swinney could speed up dueling the A9 between Inverness and Perth, says Alex Salmon, prompted by a spate of deaths on the road. Kincraig campaigner Laura Hansler submitted a petition demanding the dueling is finished, which in September of last year was upgraded to a formal inquiry. This allowed the committee to call on Cabinet Secretaries, past and present, as well as Transport Scotland officials, and now two former First Ministers, Alex Salmond and Ms Sturgeon. Inverness and Nairn MSP Fergus Ewan has campaigned tirelessly for the dueling of the A9, kicked off the questioning with Miss Sturgeon by interrogating her priorities and how that impacted the capital budget. He said, "Surely many people are right to say the A9 just was not the top priority for the Scottish Government because there was money. There was 4 or 5 billion. Plainly, at least some of the sections that haven't been duelled could have been duelled if more priority was attached. This is strongly held view within the Highlands." The former First Minister said it's an absolutely fair point for the people in the Highlands to look at it as the A9 should be prioritised above the other demands on capital budget, and if I was living in the Highlands, no doubt that is a view I would have. The other part of that, in the way you pose the question, to point to a big budget with a particular project relative to the size of the budget is relatively small, just doesn't capture the full process of budgeting. So she's basically telling Fergus Ewan, you don't know how to do budgets. When the committee convener, Jackson Carlow, questioned her on whether her administration really did have the political will to drive it forward, she claimed her government worked on the A9 with drive and determination. This is a thing that should have been built 10 years, finished 10 years ago. I think we're about 10 to 20% done. Right? 10 years ago it should have been done. It's not 10 years late because it could take another 10 or 15 years to build it. It was meant to be completed by 2016, 2014. Whew. Anyway, so this is her government worked on A9 with drive and determination. And it's 10 years past where it should be, and it's still only less than a quarter done. That shows you the drive and determination her party have got. Miss Sturgeon said, "I do not agree that there was diminution of the drive to complete the dueling. During my time as First Minister, 2 sections were completed. Well done, you. There's about 20 needing done. And there was and continues to be an incredible amount of work in progress. I went up the A9 to Dingwall 3 months ago. No roadworks. Didn't know as if there was any extending of that any dual carriageways when I drove that road not that long ago. When the 2025 target was set, a target that was set in good faith, the questions I go back to in my own mind now is, was there sufficient rigour and openness about how challenging the target was? When I look at the target now to be met, we would require a fair wind in every aspect of it. But the 2012 challenge of classification of non-profit distributing a form of public funding, austerity, Brexit and pandemic all had an impact. Well, stop you right there. I ain't going to put a date on austerity because I'm not 100% sure when that happened, right? But I'm quite sure Brexit didn't come in until well after 2012, and the pandemic was definitely 2020. So if you had a project that was due to finish and was started in 2019, I can kind of get that, right? Pandemic maybe knocking things 18 months. You are 10 years behind. And the target date you set originally was before all these things happened. So if you want to extend it and you want to extend it 18 months, okay, fair dues. But Brexit and austerity would have... How much is your transport budget went down in the last 5 years? It hasn't. So, stop talking nonsense. Therefore, I simply think we all talk about the A9 being one project. It is in fact 11 major projects and one, a lot of effort into some of the preparatory stages. One of the achievements is, and I don't want to sound as if I'm underpinning the challenges, but I think one of the achievements is that we haven't ended up caught up in endless legal processes. Imagine anybody thinking you're going to do this thing that's hundreds of miles long. That was 100 miles up. A lot of different landowners, and you don't factor that in. You don't start go, we'll probably have some legal challenges to do here. But I guarantee you what you don't have. You don't have 11. 11 of them are affected by legal challenges. And you're now saying we'll break the project down to being 11 projects. Yeah? Great. I think we have progressed A9 with drive and determination. We just have encountered significant challenges. Some of them foreseeable on a project of this scale. Others were not foreseeable. Yeah, probably. You wouldn't have thought about a pandemic, for example. But that was 2020. Crazy as it may sound, but she's just reverting to normal type for SNP. This one, Westminster, Brexit, pandemic coming in as an excuse now. So it's just type 1. Day 1 school of SNP ministers. Blame the 3 things. The only thing you didn't, well, you did, because the austerity you'll tie, that'll be the Tories' fault. But it's normally Tories in Westminster and Brexit. So you managed to get all that in that one. The other big news about Nicola Sturgeon today is, this is a belter. She is joining the Westminster Election campaign trail. That, as a unionist and somebody that wants to wipe the SNP off her political map, is the best news I've had for a fair time. Because you go to doorsteps, I dare you, you go and don't know. What you'll do though is you'll set it up with some pre-planned, we'll walk this street and we'll get the cameras here because, we've got a couple of doors here and they'll be nice to us. We'll get some wee photo ops. That's what you'll do. Go and walk down the streets of Paisley Road West. Go and walk down the streets of Clarkston. Go and walk down the streets of Gorbals. Go and just chat randoms. I dare you. Crack on. See what happens. There's not a chance you're going doorstepping. It won't happen. You'll have pre-arranged, nice wee comfortable addresses to go to. You'll get all your wee crackpots, all the Twitter at you like that. Hey, look, we had a great day campaigning. No, you didn't. The feedback I'm getting is you're getting doors slammed in your face the length and breadth of the country. There's folk asking you things like, what's going on with this Matheson? Right, that's what you're getting. You're only getting, oh great, Nicola, I hope you win because I want independence. Even the people that want independence have tippled in great numbers that you ain't delivering it. Because you can't. And nobody, you came up with it, you dreamt up this saying de facto referendum that we were going to have at the Westminster election. Your rules were 50% plus a vote. Humza changed it to 50% of the seats. And nobody's asked John Swinney, after a week of campaigning for the general election, what his rules are going to be on it. If you've done that, because anybody that desires independence has been let down with you yet again. Because you had an unachievable target, and you had an unmanageable it didn't matter if Humza got what he thought, because Humza might have got his target with 25-30% of the vote, and then he was going to go to Westminster and say, this is me get a mandate for a referendum. Who would agree to it? Who would go, all right, 27.5% of the votes went to independence parties, and we have to take that as a mandate. These are bonkers. So you go, you do all the campaigning you can, please, because it will not be proper campaigning. It will be all PR, cuddly safe environments, talking shite to the press, telling them more lies, going chat the doors. I dare you. But see, even going on TV, it will lose you votes. Take that to the bank, right? Nicola Sturgeon presenting herself in front of Scottish people who had that every day through 2021, when you forced yourself onto your TVs in the living rooms, party political broadcasts, and people were sitting clapping, you know, that, oh, let's clap for Nicola, right? They've now found out in the last 3 years that what you were telling us was bullshit. Safe and effective, lockdown, mask, all that nonsense. Yous were all at the shagging, right? We were all stuck in the house, right? So, what people think of you now is totally different from what people thought of you 3 years ago. So you please go on the TVs and you please demand that the Scottish public vote for SNP. Because let me tell you, that sweetheart, the wrong effect, the totally opposite effect for you think. Because the only people that are Nicola Sturgeon daft are the most insane that are left in your cult. The rest of the population of Scots, whether they're unionists or whether they're nationalists, have worked you out. You're not somebody that will talk anybody into voting for SNP. Believe me, the only people you'll get voting for SNP on your say so are the wee happy clappers that you've got anyway. You don't need to campaign to them. They're in the bag, right? They're voting for you, whatever it is, 10-15%. They're guaranteed. They're the only people that you could go on the TV and make smile. So please do it, because you'll see the middle ground. People that might might vote for you because they're no cult members, so they might no vote for you. Them, you go on the TV and you try and persuade them to vote for SNP, because for me as a unionist that wants to destroy your party, that is the best news I've had all week so far. Okay, so if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please subscribe. Get involved in the chat below. There's always good bit of chat in there. And most importantly of all, as long as you're not Nicola Sturgeon, John Swinney, or any of the remaining cult members I've got, everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.